X-Clan. Again, leather feathers. Right? Telling you. You used to see these regular.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what
Leather feathers.
I used to see that stuff.
Right? Leather feathers.
Leather feathers.
X-Clan.
Yeah.
Right? R.I.P. Sugar Shaft too.
Moorish MC, avalanche flow. Watch for floaters and ram chunks. All I see in dress code today is bite punks. Pants off your ass, but you're wearing a belt. But don't use it, take it off. Give you welts like dad used to do it. Black with no autopsy, no knowledge of self. Had me in stores.
Islam Wars.
Islam.
I'm sure we got the camera set. This is in a cool spot.
Yes. So what we got today?
Okay, it's the dynamic duo.
Yeah. For real.
It's good, bro.
Everything's good, fam. Everything's good.
I don't know, I got comfortable for a second. Let me put these glasses back on. I said, who am I fooling? Oh, no. I looked over there and didn't look right. Like,
See, we're going to barber shop like, see, get out of here if you want glasses first.
Yeah, Morris, what's on the agenda tonight?
who's that? What about talking about X-Rail? I want to talk about that due process, treaty. You know, I hear some people. You know, I've heard some people talk about well, the treaty is not even any good anymore. It expired.
It just started in 1986.
All right, we'll touch on X-Rail first. X-relation. Upon relation or information. Legal proceedings which are instituted by the Attorney General or other proper person in the name and behalf of the state, but on the information and at the instigation of an individual who has a private interest in the matter, are said to be taken on the relation, X-relation, of such person who is called the realtor. Such a cause is usually entitled thus, State X-Rel Do versus Roe. In the books of reports, when a case is said to be reported X-relation, it is meant that the reporter derives his account of it not from personal knowledge, but from the relation or narrative of some person who was present at the argument. So upon relation or information. So when we say Kudjo Ado X-relation strawman, we're saying that we have information with regard to that entity that whoever needs to hear, right? And for example, right? For example, with my case, right? This is the transcript for the case. Okay. Right? So they say the queen versus strawman. Right?
Yes, sir.
But then in the bottom, right? This is not my stuff. This is their transcript, saying that Kudjo Adol, X relation, straw man. And then it says in person. Right? And then if you look at the provincial prosecutor, Miss P. Guerrero, she just has her name by herself. With no X relation.
Right.
Because she's the officer of the court. So she doesn't have to distinguish her allegiance. Right? So this is the cover page. Right? But then when you go inside now, right, when you go inside now, all you see everywhere is Kudjo Adol, Kudjo Adol, Kudjo Adol, Kudjo Adol, clerk of the court, Kudjo Adol, the court, Kudjo Adol, right? Because by stating for the record that I'm X relation to the straw, they can identify me as that entity. Because that's what the makeup of X relation is, that you're now not connecting yourself to the fictitious person. You're going in there, just like the definition said, legal proceedings which are instituted by an attorney general, right, or other proper person. So only the attorney general or somebody improper person could speak from the perspective of X relation. And that's in the law book. But then people are gonna say, you know, to get away from the straw man, you have to file UCCs and you have to dissolve and you have to, you know, give in cards and all this type of stuff, when all you do is just claim X relation. Like, that's it. There's no fees to go pay. It's right in the law dictionary. Legal proceedings which are instituted by the attorney general or other proper person in the name and behalf of an individual who has a private interest in the matter.
As an authorized representative.
Right? So, I thought you had to file a UCC1 to be authorized representative.
Yeah.
Right? I thought you had to go to, you know, the department of whoever to go file some paper with them so you can get authority to represent the straw man. Right? And if you're going to get authority to represent the straw man, obviously you're not an improper person.
Makes sense.
And even that's how people lose with the whole UCC stuff when they go to court. Because they're making a claim that they're the authorized representative of a straw that somebody else gave them the authorization to be representative for. Then they're saying that they're sovereign. Which is a conflict.
Yes.
Because you can't claim to be authorized representative of the straw, or you can't claim X relation without being improper person.
Or the attorney general, period.
Or the attorney general. And we're not the attorney general, so that position isn't ours. So we can't go from that perspective. So the only other option is improper persona. And then that's the only other option. There's not, you know, it's not in the debate. Either you're improper persona or you're civil liter mortuus. And if you're civil liter mortuus, then you have no claim. If you're improper persona, you can claim anything you want. Or not claim anything that you want. And it's going to be binding at law. If you are not in propria persona, then legalese is going to apply to you and will take advantage of you.
So, you gonna say something?
I have a quick question. Are there any Moors that you know of that actually carry a driver's license in their ex-real name with their rights reserved? Period, that's the question.
Yeah, I do. More's up here. Do that because, well, first off, we're never ever identifying that straw as ours, even in ex-relation position, right? Because if we saying that it's ours, now we're liable for everything attached to that. Right, so all those signatures that they lifted of that straw man and put it on other documents, went around the world creating bonds or whatever, now you're responsible for those when it's time to cash those. So we'll never claim it as our straw man or our, whatever. That's their stuff. Right? It's always been theirs and it's gonna forever be theirs. Even if we claim it, it's still theirs. Right?
So is it just then that you're the authorized representative? You know what I mean? If you, I guess the question I'm trying to get some clarification or clarity on is, say you have this DL,
yeah,
with all rights reserved, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to always make the presumption that is you.
but that's their job.
Absolutely.
Because they're the gatekeeper.
Our job to negate that.
Yeah, they're the gatekeeper. But our job isn't to argue with them.
Right.
That's another reason why Moors get caught up, boys. Instead of just taking the ticket and go fight it in court, you're sitting there arguing with the guy with a badge and a gun in your face. That has a documented track record of using that outside of due process.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just give the license, get the ticket, and check off the thing at the back, take it to court? Which you can do in 3 days from getting that. Instead of trying to, prove something to this guy who's not trying to hear you, because more than likely he has that job because he either has some anger management problem or whatever, right? He has that job because he can't, he got some attitude problem,
Get beat up in school.
He used to get beat up in school. He was a nerd in the corner. Everybody used to slap up or whatever, right? And now he has a badge and it's payback time. On all those black guys that used to make fun of me and call me wigger and all that because I wanted to hang out with them, now I'm going to take it out on all these black guys. Let me see your license. Oh, you don't have a license? Okay, cool. What else you have? Oh, you got papers? Well, I don't want to hear this shit right here. Where's your license at? No, here's the license. You're going to go back to it, punch up the stuff, you know what I mean? And, a lot of the problem is because people's so-called driving record is shot. That's why they don't want to give the license. That's why they're going to talk crap about sovereignty and rights and all that. Because they're stuck. They already got 50,000 in fines, right? That they never dealt with, which means they abandoned, right? And they're actually distraught. So when you show some nationality card now, but you got 50,000 in fines that you never sent a writ for the 50,000 in fines saying that you're more, and you guys should dissolve this, right? But you get stopped after they get the $50,000 fine, right? Now you're a mourner all of a sudden. That's fraud. That's why they get that attitude as well. Because they already know that you're fronting. They already know you're just trying to get out and not paying your stuff. Because you didn't send anything to the court saying that, you know, that fine that they're setting up is, you know, fraudulent or whatever. You just let it sit there for the past 5-10 years, and finally you got stopped. Right? And it probably wasn't them. Could have been Allah. Just to see, just to prove to you that you're not ready for this. You better either go try to deal with those fines with some fiat, or you better start sending out some writs to these people, right? And make your claim known. Because majority of people, this is a you know, get out of jail free, you know, monopoly shit to them. They're not really serious about nationality and birthrights and studying and knowing the law and knowing the Constitution and knowing that, you know, perfect segue, knowing that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is connected to the Constitution. Not because Moors say so, but because it's documented, that's just documented fact. There's not anything that we can do about that. People don't have to accept it if they don't want to, but that's the reality of it right there. You know what I mean? The reality. Sorry, go ahead.
When you get a chance, you might be going in a different direction, but I want you to come around to how do you properly utilize the X-ray?
Just like this. If you have any document, or if you have any type of if something has to do with the straw, right? If something has to do with the straw, and you know that you're not the straw, you're gonna address it as your free national name, X relation, the straw man. And then that's how you utilize it. Right? That's just how it's done.
Brother Kudjo,
Yeah, fam.
pretty sure you're probably familiar with the Federalist Papers.
I've heard of them, but I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, I haven't read them either. I just happened to come across it last night. Phoebe sent me a link to a guy by the name of Carl Miller. He's a Michigan resident. Well, actually, he domiciles here in Michigan because he don't play their game either. He's a European.
Fast talking. Sorry, remember?
Right.
Right.
Remember the video? I got the video from you. Fast talking, he's talking about getting out basically
the older
he's talking about the Constitution.
Yeah, the older man?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I watched a series of his videos since you sent me the one link. I just wanted to see what else he had to talk about. He mentioned the Federalist Papers, mentoring edition, and a couple of other documents. He made mention of the Magna Carta.
Right.
And some of the other documents. But it was funny how he mentioned on his on the driver's license that next to their name, as he's instructing his students, next to their names to put UD under duress.
Right.
And then, of course, put the UCC 1-103, 207, and 308.
Right. Now, yes, you can utilize UD, right? But again, we have to be mindful of what status are we learning from?
Right.
In his status, he can put UD. In our status, we have to put TDC. which is threat, duress, and coercion.
Threat, duress, and coercion.
Right, because we're not only under duress as indigenous people.
Right.
We're also threatened on a regular.
So yeah,
And we've been coerced into thinking that we're something that we're not. Through the duress.
Right.
Right?
So it would be straw man, TDC, without prejudice, UCC 1-103-07-308.
Yeah, but put what you said last first.
All reserved without prejudice.
Yeah, but put what you did last first. So UCC and all that, all rights reserved first, right? TDC, without prejudice, whatever else we come up with that we want to put to protect our birthright, and then the signature of the straw over all that. Right, and that's going to be something that, you know, just becomes pattern.
Is it just TDC or do you put under TDC?
You see this?
That's the biggest one.
Yeah,
You see it?
yeah,
Okay.
right.
Would that work?
Yeah, and then you sign, then sign over all that, like on top of.
Okay, so the bottom line that you saw was the John Henry Doe signature. So it would just go right through.
Yeah,
all of it.
exactly, right through it.
So they don't try to alter it.
Exactly. Right? And then and also too, keep in mind you can put the signature in your signature, or if you're signing for the straw, like regardless, never sign in black ink, right? Always sign red, blue, purple, whatever, right? But when you're signing your free national name, put it in red ink.
And that TDC, that was, you just put the TDC, did you just put TDC or do you put, you put under first or?
Well, this is what you're gonna realize, that you're gonna alter, you're gonna mix and match, because sometimes you might put stuff and, you know, depending on who you're trying to contract with, they don't want you to have certain things on there. You know what I mean? So, you know, it has to become first nature to just like how we used to sign without putting anything, and that was just what we did. Okay, what we do is we just put whatever we put down, but make sure something's there. Don't sign with nothing.
I think I understand what you're saying. Once it becomes first nature, depending on the type of contract that you're entering, you'll know what to include within that signature and what not to include.
Exactly.
So there may be times where you're signing a contract where you're really not under threat, duress, and coercion.
Right.
If you sign and reserve all your rights.
Exactly. Even though you know we're technically under threat, duress, and coercion all the time, you know what I mean? It doesn't never stop. But, you know, and also too, it depends on how are you, who are you contracting with and what it's for? You know what I mean? You know, so if you go to I don't know, you get, somebody tells you, just write down your email here and just initial that you put your email, you know, and You could put dot dot as your initial, no, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? You know, but things, big stuff, yeah, make sure you put something on there. You know what I mean? Especially big stuff, because you want to make sure that they know you're not the straw. You know? And that's one way of letting them know, by reserving your rights, because you know, stateless people don't reserve their rights.
Want to hear something funny, Brother Kudjo?
Shoot it more.
That'd be funny.
So it's gonna be funny. Well, it is gonna be funny because I found a BK, right? We kind of mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I found a BK,
Yeah.
and there was this private school on there that said regardless of whether I completed the coursework or not, if I didn't come back after an LOA, that I was still owing them like 15, 16K.
Yeah.
So, because I had been kind of studying on the other tip, on the sovereign tip, a while back, I signed it, you know, of course, UCC1 reserved all my rights, UCC1-103-308-207. And so when I went to look at my credit report, right? Or, you know, John Doe's credit
Yeah.
report, I didn't see them nowhere on there. It's been over like almost 2 years, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see them nowhere on there.
Right.
So my thinking is that they seen when I signed all the paperwork with them for school and everything else, they saw that on there. So they don't feel like they really have that recourse to come after it.
Right.
Because they figure he knows something.
But that's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's, you know, and again, because they have so many other ways of raping people, you know, and getting that back, they're not worried about 5 people who reserve their rights and they themselves just discharge the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like one of the Moors out here when he went, you know, he got a ticket, went to place to fight it. They're like, okay, well, you know, if you're gonna fight this, you know, you have to sign here. And he signed all rights reserved, all that. Lady looked at it, no, you can't do that. You have to sign without that. Well, I can't sign without that, so all rights reserved. Well, you know, here's the thing. Listen, I keep telling you that you can't do this, you know, that's not a signature or whatever like that. You know, you got, well, you know, I can't do anything but sign like this. So here's a lady tore up the ticket in his face. Told him that his ticket is withdrawn or something like that. Your ticket is withdrawn. Please leave. Right?
Okay.
Right? So, and that's just by putting all rights reserved on the paper. So there must be something about it. There must be something about, you know, putting that down that gives the person viewing that a broader perspective of the individual who put that down. You know, there must be something in the back. You know, there's a family right now, a brother and sister right now, dealing with that same thing with the passport. You know, the high commissioner of the passport office is calling them, saying, yo, you guys can't put all rights reserved on the passport. Like, we're not having it. Well, that's what our signature is. Well, then we're not going to give you a passport. Okay, you know what? You got 30 days to figure this out. And we'll call you back in 30 days. And call them back, found out something else, you know, of how to sign. You know, just doing their research. So they took out the all rights reserved, right? And the UCX, it's slipping my mind right now what the thing was, but there was some initials that they used, basically meaning sort of because I'm under duress, I have to sign like this in this manner, you know. But it had nothing to do with them putting down the straw signature. It's just I think it's VC or MC or something like that. ... You know, and it's a Latin term that means I'm under duress right now. That's why I'm signing this like this. And it has no all rights reserved, no without prejudice, UCCs and nothing like that. Just this initial, right? And then we're just waiting to hear back from them on what's going on, what happened. You know, but they're gonna try to stop you from reserving your rights. Majority of
So they
places.
sign and then put those initials.
Say that again?
They put their signature and then those initials.
Yeah, no, not even no signature. Just those initials only. Yeah,
Okay.
just those initials only. I'll get that information for you and get that to you. You know, because it's a good little piece of info. Just like, you know, just a secondary thing for when they pull the stop on you with the all rights reserved, you just
Right.
hit them with that one and keep it moving. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's, and again too, you know, it's, again, it comes back to that thing of it becoming first nature. You know what I mean? Not even something that we think about, just something that we do automatic, bam, you do it, and you go about your business. You know? And think highly from the perspective of, if these people that you're contracting with don't want you to reserve your rights, but they're not going to let you take their logo and call it your company and go around the world and do whatever with their logo, obviously they're in some type of conspiracy, extortion, treason, or something like that, and you shouldn't want to be contracting with them anyways. To protect yourself. You know? If they're not going to let you reserve your rights on the contract, maybe you don't need their service. Maybe you should just leave them alone. You know, regardless of what it is.
Get something up.
Yeah, because they won't let you use their logo without them reserving their rights. They won't let you walk. You can't even walk into a court, so-called court, kangaroo court, administrative court, whatever, without seeing the notice sign. Notice, anybody who comes in this court, you know, you have to abide by the rules of that's them reserving their rights. There's a big notice and a plaque on the wall. They're reserving their rights. Cast iron plaque. And you can't put a little something on a little signature line, but they have a cast iron plaque to uphold their rights and reserve their rights under threat, duress, and coercion of the people. But we can't do it. You know? That sounds like fraud. Anytime somebody, not even somebody, anytime a corporation can do something that the people can't, you better start thinking about proclaiming your nationality, because martial law is next.
Absolutely. It has never left.
You know what I mean?
Never left. Still in effect.
In effect, full effect, especially now.
They just haven't clamped down and started enforcing it.
But I mean, you know, it's like, what do we really consider clamped down? You know what I mean?
I'm talking to the extreme where
You know?
the tanks is rolling down the street.
Yeah.
You know.
House arrest.
Yeah. But you know, that just happened with the Boston bombing crap or whatever. They were on lockdown, house arrest, the tanks in the street.
Test runs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
You know, or is it the reality? You know? When common beat cops could get in a public servant vehicle that has a sound machine on it, I think we're past test runs. You know, when they're talking about, you know, protesting and, you know, people have riot gear and all that, I think it's past test runs. They're in for the long haul. Just how long we gonna last. You know, because they don't really have the You know, remember that everything that they do is based on the Catholic, Roman / Moorish wars. Everything that's going on, right? Even right now, everything stemmed from those wars. Everybody has a piece to play. There's people who are fighting for booty that's, you know, 12, 13 times handed over to different people. You know what I mean? They defeat the Moors, they got something, they lost that to somebody, that person lost that to somebody, that person lost that to somebody, that person lost that to somebody 12 times. And then the guy who's in war right now going against that other guy, he's fighting for Moorish booty that this guy got from defeating a man, from defeating a man, from defeating a man, from defeating a man, from defeating a man who defeated the Moors. Because the Europeans have infighting too. You know, it's not just Moors. Kudjo, why are you going against Lord Awa? You know, he's dirty. It's not infighting. You know what I mean? That's not what we have. We can agree to disagree or whatever. No, like, there's dirty people out there. I just watched I was just watching, you know, little did I know, but you know, when you're spiritually hooked up, the ancestors show you stuff. You know? So bumped into this YouTube lecture or something by this guy, Minister Enki. You know? And he's talking about it. The Moors been lying to people about black and what black means and all this type of stuff. You know? Like straight, you know, putting it out there like we're crazy people. Like we don't know what we're talking about or something. You know? Or like according to what science does black mean death? Science of law. According to the science of law, jurisprudence, black, which is civil liter mortuus, means death. Dead in the eyes of the law. It's in the definition of civil liter mortuus. And everybody who calls themselves black is in the status of civil liter mortuus. Everybody who's in civil liter mortuus status, they kill their brother if they step on their shoe. They treat the sisters like garbage. They have them up in videos doing all types of madness. Right? Twerking, whatever else that they want to do. Right? They you know, their mentality is, you know, money, and they don't think about anything else. Right? You know, that's death. You know, if we go some of these communities that are called so-called quote-unquote black, all you see is death and desolation and destruction and whatever going on there. But then these people are going to try to justify that brand or that label as legitimate. And not only front like that's legitimate, but bash people who talk against it. Like we're talking craziness. You know? Same thing with the Constitution suspended. Well, the Constitution suspended, so Moors can't use the Constitution to defend their rights or whatever. And if you're going to do anything to the Constitution, you have to have a constitutional convention. And that's grade 8 civics. That in order to make any amendments to the Constitution, you have to have a constitutional convention. Suspending the Constitution is amending the Constitution, is making a change to the Constitution. So there has to be a constitutional convention in order to do that. And we haven't heard anything about constitutional convention since Articles of Confederation. There hasn't been no words. Ask the people who claim that Constitution of the United States of America is suspended, where was the Constitutional Convention held that made that legit? That so-called suspension of the Constitution. That if it's suspended, why is Barack Obama taking an oath to it in 2012 or 2013 or whatever?
Right.
If it's so-called suspended, why is he still taking an oath to it?
Would be a need to.
He wouldn't even need to if the Constitution is suspended. You know? But it comes back to that same thing with the black. People who don't have knowledge of something, assuming that they know something because they heard something or whatever like that, and then they go out there pushing what they assume as legit. You know, that's why I put this up, right? Because there's this guy on YouTube, right? All you Moors full of shit or whatever, keep talking about going to court and, you know, and when that stuff don't work. Like, well, how are you gonna say that doesn't work? Have you tried it? I don't need to try it. I know that doesn't work. No Moors hasn't showed proof or whatever. Like, well, I got proof that I got transcript for my case that they threw out my charges. Well, what's the docket number? What's the what's the blah blah? All right, file number 486399 blah blah blah. Her Majesty the Queen versus whatever, you know, March 25th, 2011, before His Worship I.S. Chandho, 1530 Markham, Ontario Court of Justice. Well, they're not gonna let me look that up. That's your transcript. And the court's not gonna put that online, and you know, you guys never prove your whatever, but you know, how about you don't know what the hell you're talking about because you're asking for things that you don't know what you're asking for. You're asking for docket number, you're asking for where the session happened, you're asking for the date, you get that, and now there's a reason why you can't get the information about Kudjo's case getting thrown out because it's in Kudjo's name, and you know the court's not gonna issue that or whatever. Did you call them? Did you inquire about anything? Or, you know, are you just somebody out there just, you know, flapping? You know, oh, you know, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, that doesn't stand today. You know, there's no treaty with Morocco and the United States, and that's been dissolved when, you know, treaties and Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And you can't have the Constitution if the treaty is not in effect still. Because the treaty predated the Constitution. Right? They have to have the treaty in place in order for them to have the Articles of Association, Articles of Confederation, right? And all these documents leading up to the Constitution. You know? George Washington letters, all those letters, not the letter, all the letters. George Washington being the head or the so-called assigned leader for the U.S, going out there to go make his name. He's writing letters to all these different people, all these different, you know, heads of state all over the world or whatever, all different jurisdictions. How come? Because they have to build up a paper trail to prove that they're qualified to get the support of Morocco. And when they got the support of Morocco, then everybody was game to do business with them now. Because the sovereign of the land that they were on recognized them as who they said they are. And gave them certain authority to be in this land and do whatever it is that they do once they stay in line with the Constitution. Right? So, constitutional position of the treaty, right? And again, so everybody knows and everybody's familiar, whatever it is that you need to find out with regard to the history of the Moors in America and their connection to the government, so-called government. Everything you can get through RV Bay Publications, right? Like everything that you need, you can get there. In order for you to have a clear concept of what we're not clear about. Because we have to be sure with regard to our status and our jurisdiction in the Americas. Because Europeans are sure that they're colonists and inquisitionists. And they're acting according to what they know. And they don't play the mercy and white flags and all that. They're taking heads if you mess up. They'll give you a 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 5 years or whatever for jaywalking. So don't take these people light because we figure we have some knowledge, superior and whatever like that, and we can just be bossy because we know that we're Moors. Like, we better be clear as to what we know. And the only, and you know, it might sound biased or whatever. The only way that you're going to be clear with regard to this information is get yourself around active Moors. And not active Moors, not pseudo-active Moors. Active Moors who have 50, 80, 100 classes out there. That nobody's not coming and telling them that they're wrong and they need to change what they said in their class. Because real active Moors deal with facts. We don't have time for trying to prove something to somebody. Go check the facts and prove the facts wrong. Forget me. Don't prove nothing about Kudjo. Right? Go research what we put out and come back and tell me that that was wrong. Or that wasn't how it went or whatever. You know? And hey, you know what I mean? It ain't nothing. Everybody's a student. If I'm wrong, it ain't no big deal. I don't know ego issue because I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I hope I'm wrong so that we could get some dialogue going on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it has to be about, like what we're doing. You know? Find out something, bring it to the table, somebody else brings something to the table, you know, like a potluck. You know? Everybody brings their little dish, put it on the table, and we could all eat like kings and queens or whatever. We'd all be cutting pie in 50 pieces if everybody brings a pie. You know, right? So with regard to the peace, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, right? And this is from the treaty book, right? RB Bay Publications, page 35. Giving informational and supplemental support to those neophytes who have been misdirected or mentally buried by the contemporary education systems, we will present a verifiable type copy of President George Washington's December 1st, 1979 letter at the city of New York to the Al-Moroccan Sultan. The subordinate political position of George Washington is clear and irrefutable. Conclusively, the true political relationship between the establishment of the United States corporate operations at North America and that of the support and the authoritative sanctioning position of the Sultan also becomes clear to those who were denied true access to world's history. Sultan Muhammad, by the exercising of sovereign authority, was acting with future-oriented insight, reason, and with magnanimity on behalf of all the Moroccan Empire, and in the interest of securing the establishment of the United States of North America as a viable and stable government. And while the impregnable records show that it was also apparent that many of the Moorish regents and regencies did not agree with the Sultan's generosity toward the European guilds and companies, they were vehemently not supportive of the United States gaining authoritative sanction on Moorish soils. Right? These are all the so-called Barbary pirates who were kidnapping all these Europeans, sailing in the Mediterranean like, you know, they have some power or something, because they're, you know, they don't want to accept the fact that they're the slave of the Moors. And they want to get their own boat and their own fleets of ships and pretend like they have some type of authority in the planet somewhere. Right? So a lot of the Moors who took the position of being against the Sultan, it was with reason. Same reasoning behind many of the indigenous tribes saying to keep those guys at the water, don't let them come inland. That's documented fact. Right? That, yeah, we were nice to them or whatever, but they had their boundary. They didn't have no free-for-all go running up, you know what I mean, all into New York and where we see them signing documents and all that. They're just supposed to go do their stuff, go back to the seaboard. You know, but they got comfortable. For the same reason why Moorish regents and regencies did not agree with Sultan's generosity toward the European guilds and companies. Why? Because they already had a history of what these people can do in Europe. They already knew. Their what's it called? What's it called when you swarm, right? Their swarming mentality. You know? Like when you see, you know, a piece of something and you have ants just on that, tearing that apart. You know? Right? The decision of the Sultan to give support and protections to this new and questionable experiment of government was actually in interest of both parties of the treaty. After all considerations had been taken into account, the European colonists were gaining power and influence and were expanding their occupation in the Moorish dominions of America. At the same time, regencies and provinces of the Moorish Empire were weakening due to continued wars, internal conflicts, political and strategic disagreements, and by incessant internal divisions. Thus, the evolving and increasingly stabilized United States of North America was advanced in stature and well secured and established in the Moorish dominions of the Western Hemisphere, Maghreb al-Aqsa, Morocco, the most extreme west. Right? So, in order for the European colonists to be here, right, they had to go into treaty with us here to establish themselves, right? Because, let's see what. Right? Treaty. a compact made between two or more independent nations with a view to the public welfare. An agreement, league, or contract between two or more nations or sovereigns, formally signed by commissioners properly authorized and solemnly ratified by the several sovereigns or the supreme power of each state. A treaty is not only a law but also a contract between two nations and must, if possible, be so construed as to give full force and effect to all its parts. Treaty of peace, an agreement or contract made by belligerent powers in which they agree to lay down their arms and by which they stipulate the conditions of peace and regulate the manner in which it is to be restored and supported. Right? So we say Treaty of Peace and Friendship, right? So a Treaty of Peace and Friendship is not a document dealing with sincere peace and friendship. Right? It's a document that had to be drawn up because of wars. The document was drawn up because of wars. And it's like we were talking about earlier, the wars that's been going on since the European came into existence between the Romans and the Moors, or the recessive Melanites and the dominant Melanites. Right? And because of all these wars going on through time and time and time again or whatever, they drew the line in the sand and they said, all right, this is what is going to happen. This is how this is going to go down. Right? This is how we're going to correct the wrongs of the past so we can move forward in unity. So they set up the treaty, which was, first of all, supposed to quell or suppress all of the wars going on between the Moors and the Europeans, because remember, in the treaty, right, it talks about Article 21, if any citizen of the United States should kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrary, if a Moor shall kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country shall take place, and equal justice shall be rendered, and consul, not counsel, but consul, assisting at the trial. And if any delinquent shall make his escape, the consul shall not be answerable for him in any manner whatever. Right? So Article 21 solidifies the fact that there was obviously Moors killing Europeans and Europeans killing Moors before this treaty. Right? And a lot of the Europeans killing Moors is the so-called Indian stories and Salem witch trials and all that. Right? Trail of Tears. All these things that were happening and leading up to European full occupation of the dominions of Morocco or of the Moorish Empire. Right? And if we look at it geographically, we can see that the only jurisdiction other than Europe that Europeans sort of, stick their chests up and try to control stuff is North America. They don't do that whenever they go anywhere else in the world. They don't not go into Chinese people starting DMVs in China or whatever.
Right.
They're not starting Social Security or whatever in China and all that. Because the Manchurians, they knew what was up. That's why they built the wall, to keep the European from coming over there pillaging all their stuff. Right? And they say that in their stuff. They say that. We built the wall because of the invading forces, they say. They know what they're talking about. They're not talking about their own. You know? Right? So when the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was established, that's something that impacted the whole entire world. Because now everybody's sitting back saying, well, damn, if the Moors could make some peace with this European, who we're complaining about, then, I mean, you know, we're gonna have to follow suit. Right? The only problem was that the United States of America got infiltrated. Right? And when the United States of America got infiltrated by let's find this thing right here. One sec. When the United States of America got infiltrated, that wasn't the same Europeans that everybody thought was the ones that had the treaty and all that. They thought that was them still, but that wasn't them. That was a different branch of Europeans. Let me find this thing and we'll get there. So I have this page marked here. I don't want to search all night, but okay. Let's see, it was somewhere around here. All right. Okay. According to Empress, oh yeah, and this is Alim El Bey, First World Order. You can get this off his site, dralimlbey.com. According to Empress Verdiasi Tiara Washita Tunica Gaston El Bey, the real George Washington was killed and replaced by Adam Weishaupt, Weishaupt, the Bavarian Illuminati founder, May 1st, 1776. Adam Weishaupt is referred to repeatedly in the Illuminatus written by Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson as the founder of the Bavarian Illuminati and was an impostor who killed George Washington and took his place as the first president of the United States. Washington's portrait on the $1 bill is actually said to be Weishaupt. However, the real George Washington, Jorge Washita, became an honorary member of the order under the auspices of Benjamin Banneker Ben Bey, who initiated him into Alexandria Lodge 21 in 1752 at the age of 21. William Mackey's Revised Encyclopedia of Freemasonry states Washington was initiated in 1752 in the lodge in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and the records of that lodge still in existence present the following entries on the subject. The first entry is thus November 4th, 1752. This evening, Mr. George Washington was initiated as an entered apprentice. Receipt of the entrance fee amount to £23 was acknowledged. Fellowcraft and M.M. March 3rd, or Fellowcraft and Master Mason, March 3rd and August 4th, 1753. Washington or Weishaupt. Washington's views on Illuminati, however, are very clear. He condemned them as self-created societies and dealt them a blow that led to their disappearance. When questioned about whether or not Illuminism had spread to Masonry in America, Washington answered that he did not believe that the lodges of Freemasonry in this country had as societies endeavored to propagate the diabolical tenet of the former Illuminati or pernicious principles of the latter Jacobinism. After the switch, Washington, who was now Weishaupt, right, it was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati and principles of Jacobinism had not spread in the United States. On the contrary, no one is more truly satisfied of this fact than I am. Below Library of Congress, George Washington's letter to Illuminati. Nevertheless, in 1789, the impostor George Washington, Adam Weishaupt, used his presidency and his adopted name Washington from Washita or Wichita to make a mockery of the empire Washita deducted among the Moors. In schools across the country and even the globe have heard the supposed childhood confession of George Washington to his father saying, "I cannot tell a lie, father, I chopped down the cherry tree." The cherry tree was the continental flag of the Moorish Masonic Empire. The continental flag was a red cherry flag with a green tall cedar tree displayed in a white canton. This is the same Iroquois Moors' great peace league symbol, the tree of peace, a tall white pine tree. It has the watchful eagle perched atop, guarding the peace and the people. The four great roots reaching deep into the earth mother, and the four directions, and the war cubs of battle buried beneath the tree. The tree symbolized the law and their constitution. The branches symbolize shelter, security, and protection. And for the people, the roots embraced all nations of the earth and brought them under the peace and the law. Right? So, when these individuals intercepted the arrangement that the Moors made with the Europeans, these incepting Europeans were the ones who brought about the Klan and things of that nature, brought about the Whiggamore Party, brought about the where all black people have to vote Democratic because you can't vote Republican, and then them incepting or usurping the Republic and then playing the game with people, the Democracy Republic, and then they take the Republic position and blacks have to take the Democratic position, which is fraud because the Democratic position leads you to democracy, and then the Republican position leads you to the power of the government, which is Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, which they say is suspended, but they keep pushing that they're Republicans. And it's just, everybody's just, just over there. Everybody's looking for crashing waves, but they're underwater. Everybody wants to surf, but they're in a submarine. Talking about where's the waves at. Right? So, after these people intercept, remember that they're intercepting a corporation that has allegiance with the Moroccan Empire, which these same infiltrators helped get out of Spain, because the war doesn't stop. just because they say the war is over and everybody goes back to where they came from. The war continues going on. Because espionage, that doesn't stop. Once espionage and infiltration and all that's going on, war is still at a high peak. Right? It's not where people think it is. You know? That's why I used to love James Bond movies. Because they let you know that there's things happening that people are oblivious to. And these things that are happening are affecting governments internationally, all over the world. Right now, something's going on right now that's affecting governments all over the world, and the U.S. is the initiator of these happenings in the world. Because of them usurping the power of these sincere Europeans who were really trying to escape what they were going through in Europe under the king. They were really sincerely trying to find a new home. And really, they were really repatriating, because they know that they were created in the Yucatan. Right? They know they didn't come from any caves in Europe. They know that they're from this side. But if they can get, you know, the true sovereigns to not be Moroccan because, you know, somebody said that, you know, North Africans enslaved black people. The Moors were the ones that put everybody in slavery. Well, yeah and no. Because some people put their own people in slavery too. But they're not going to talk about that. You know? They're not going to talk about, you know, the what's it called again? The black plagues in China and all that. And those people were enslaving each other because of disease and whatever else going on, quarantining people or whatever to their own. You know? And when we take the position of saying that we're Moors, and that there's a treaty, and there's treaties before that, and treaties after that, and there's a constitution, and there's Article of Confederation, and there's all these documents to prove that Europeans came over here, and not only did they come over here, but they came over here on an invite from us. This wasn't just a good area for them to come to, so let's go to America. They got invited to come here. That's why they can go to the Sultan and you know, George Washington's letter, you know what I mean, kissing the Sultan's ass and all that, you know, oh my magnanimous friend and all that, you know. Like they know what's up. They know who the principal of the school is. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's just like with, you know, you're going to look at the founder of the Ottoman Empire, Osman Bey, but because he looks, you know, like a European, everybody's going to, you know, turn their head like they don't know that he's a Moor. His name's Bey. Like, what's there to talk about? The founder of the Ottoman Empire's name's Bey. And the Turkish Empire comes out of the Ottoman Empire. You know? How'd that guy get the name Bey if he's not connected to the Moors? You know? And the Ottoman Empire was right above North Africa, where the Moors were. You know. And if you go on what the hell's that thing called? Avalon Project. There's a website called Avalon Project. And when you go on that website, you're gonna find every single treaty, contract, covenant, whatever in the world on that website. I think it actually goes from BC. They have stuff on there from BC to modern. And when you see, you know, all these treaties that are all over the world, and they're talking about the inhabitants, not the people. You know, all these treaties, you know, Europeans, Spanish, Portuguese, whatever. Yeah, you know, wherever is treaty with the inhabitants of, you know, wherever you guys are, and, you know, the inhabitants agree that, you know, whatever, and the inhabitants should do this and that, and the inhabitants should whatever. You know, they're talking about indigenous people. You know, they're usurping, colonizing, you know, they're bringing in their version to try to get these people confused, have them think, you know, their God is bullshit and Jesus is the real savior of you. You know what I mean? Don't worry about nature. You know, nature can't do anything for you. Don't worry, you guys been talking to plants and talking to animals for the past 50,000 years. Don't worry about that culture. Abandon that and adopt this. Right? Because remember that even though there was infiltration, keep in mind that there was a lot of Europeans during slave trade times that put their life on the line to make sure we got out of slavery. More than our own. While our own is on the plantation whipping a brother, a European is using his store as a safe haven to put so-called black people in barrels, in caskets or whatever, ship them out of town. On their credit that they have. Not getting any help from, you know, the black rich people or whatever like that. You know, straight Europeans. You know what I mean? Housing slaves in the basement to ship them out. Right? Why are they doing that for? Because Article 21. Right? If any citizen of the United States should kill or wound a Moor, right? So they know. It's not like they don't know. Then remember, the treaty, for all the people who say, you know, there's no such thing as Moors, Moors means black and all that crap right there, right? Treaty of Peace and Friendship, sealed by the Emperor of Morocco, June 28, 1786. So before Noble Drew Ali, there was Moors here doing Moorish stuff that nobody can dispute because it's in the congressional records in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Article 21, that it says Moor, and it says Moor capitalized, and it doesn't have black attached to it with a little a, right? So they know what's up. Like they're very, very aware. We have to be aware. That's what our problem is. Our problem is that, yeah, we can say, you know, we can bring up the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, right, as a defense. You know what I mean? But if we don't know the underlying current that led to things like the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, we might as well not mention it. Because the history of the Moors in America is vast. It's not just a 600-year slave story. You know what I mean? This goes into thousands of years of history. And we're not even talking about everywhere at once. We're saying just specifically here, there's 50,000 years on this side. We're not even talking about on the other side yet. We're talking about before Barbary powers and all that. You know, before there was even Europeans in existence. There was Moors, dark-skinned people. You know what I mean? With government and land and, you know, aircrafts and spaceships and whatever else that we decided to do. You know, a lot of people aren't there in their mentality, so they miss stuff. You know, just like you know, and Moors are the perfect example, because when you talk to Moors, we don't talk from a belief perspective. You know, the active Moors. When you talk to active Moors, we talk from here's the documentation. Go research this documentation. And then tell me if you can find anything that's contrary to this information. If you don't find anything that's contrary to this information, then you should be proclaiming their nationality tomorrow. Right? If we're saying you know, there's something called Treaty of Peace and Friendship, you know, is recognized, you know, and the Moors had something to do with that. And the individual doesn't go look that up, right? They're doing themselves a disservice, right? When we see Moors talk negative about, you know, the Constitution, and Moors talk negative about the treaty, and Moors talk negative about everything having to do with the Moorish nation that they don't like, they're doing themselves a disservice. They can't do nothing to the movement. But there's going to be Moors, regardless of whether dumb people are real, want to get smart and proclaim it, or whether they do nothing. There's still going to be Moors. You know what I mean? Whether we got, you know, fezzes on, or turbans, or, you know, Detroit Tigers and Master Barber, we're still Moors. They're not going to take away the fact that we're Moors. They can't take away that fact because it's a fact. You know, right? Even with like the documentation of these things, like when we look at the when we look at, for example, $2 bill, right? Right? They talked about it in here, right? That you have the $2 bill, you have the $1 bill with the pyramid seal on it, right? Which is you have the $1 bill with the seal, and then you have the $2 bill with Ben Bay on there, right? Sitting under a cross in the door. So in the back of the room, there's a door that has a cross on it. It's a closed door, but it has a cross. And right at the bottom of the cross, there's a brother sitting at the bottom of the cross that you can see clearly that that's a brother, right? When you look at the composition of the texture that they use to color in all the other people, and then this guy, right? And why they have him under a cross in the door? Because he's a saint, right? On the money. So I think under the cross is Benjamin Banneker, and then I think like 4 or 5 people over, there's another brother with gray hair. And then that's supposed to be John Hanson. Right?
Looks like the third one to the right of him. Well, facing my right anyway. Isn't it?
Right, and because they know, because it's a fact that we won't read, whether it's read symbology or read, books, we don't know what's going on. We're completely oblivious to what's going on. You know what I mean? Look at the Ben Ishmael tribe, right? History of Moors in America. It's not a thing of having to go out and search for all this stuff. Information's right there. I mean, clear. Right? Information's right there. Right? And we have to stand on what we know. As Moors who know. Right? We have to stand on what we know. Because if we're not standing on what we know, then people are gonna get distracted. People are gonna find other things to belong to because they think that, that Moor stuff is wrong, or, paperwork can't save you and all that. When it's not about paperwork, it's all about returning to this frame of mind of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. And once we return to the state of mind of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, then we'll be able to do the things necessary to be free. Because we're going to be thinking like free people. If we're not thinking like free people, or thinking like our ancient foremothers and forefathers, then we're going to be lost. Which is why we're lost. And trust me, they know what's up. Like I've dealt with enough Europeans, you know what I mean? I've had Europeans, see me with my Circle 7 pendant, run up to me like, do you mean the Moors? Like, you mean the Moors, the real Moors? Yeah, the Moors. Like not the Spain Moors, you mean like the Moors, like the navigating Moors who had the ships and all that. Yeah, those Moors. Europeans telling me about some Moorish history. You know what I mean? Openly. Not secret, come to the back room, let me show you something. Like come and standing in the middle of a hallway of a school, and I'm just sitting there talking to a European about the Moors. And then Moors are just, passing back and forth, don't even know they're in a whole different dimension. Right? And there's this European who they say is the devil telling me about some stuff that if I tell these people, they're going to tell me, oh no, that's wrong. That's not how that goes. No. Yeah, but go read the treaty. It says more in the treaty. It doesn't say black guy. It doesn't say African. It doesn't say all these other names that you call yourself. It says more. So why would Europeans come here and make a treaty with Europeans about if a European should kill a European? You know what I mean? If Moors are Europeans, but you know, we already know Moor means black. You know, according to certain people's DVDs that they like to put out. You know, that everybody follows. Everybody's gonna go watch that. But you ask them about Taj, you know, they don't know who Taj is. But they know about Moors because they saw this DVD that, you know, this guy put out, and then he made a part 2 talking about melanin, and then in there they talked about the Moors. You know? But you ask them about Richard King and they don't know who that is. And you ask them about Kalindi IE and they don't know who that is. But they know about melanin and they know about Moors because they watched this guy's DVD. You know? And now you can't talk to them about Moors now because, you know, that DVD said Moors are black. So that means we're black people. No, not really.
They didn't even really let the, and then, you know what? They didn't even really let the Moor talk too much.
Yeah.
They didn't even let them talk too much.
Not even. Why? You know, why? Because people are on doing this with the strings with people, you know?
They didn't let the brother talk too much, and he had plenty to say.
Oh, you know you got plenty to say.
He had plenty to say.
You know he's got plenty to say. If anybody,
Yeah.
you know he's got plenty to say. But nope, zip the lip.
I know when I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, okay, they gonna put it back on in a minute.
Yep, minute turned to an hour.
Dang.
Minute turned to an hour, right? And again too, like, it's not, you know, it's not no, you know, slinging mud at people or nothing like that, right? But how are you gonna have a video about Moors and not have Moors interviewed? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Right? You know, if I'm making a video about, you know, changing the tire, right? I can't be making the video about changing the tire and I'm showing you, you know, dogs jumping through hula hoops or whatever. Don't worry, we're gonna bring the tire video in a second. And then the cover has me on there with the tire iron, you know what I mean, holding the tire, like, yeah, you know what I mean? This is the change your tire video. And you put it in and I'm walking around, dogs jumping through stuff. And you're not questioning that, you're just, oh yeah, you know, that's a real good DVD right there, you know what I mean? I need some copies of that to put in my store to go sell. Everybody needs their tire change.
You got a baker talking about tires.
Right. You know?
I mean, he don't know about tires, but that's not his area.
Right.
For real.
You know.
Right, he talking about cakes and stuff. Where's
Right.
the mechanic? Where's the tire man?
And not that people aren't knowledgeable in other areas. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could be knowledgeable in other areas, but damn it, we've been put through the ringer so much that how about we let those who are experts at things speak on those topics? How about we stop asking black people about what more means? Because he obviously doesn't know if he's calling himself black. Stop asking these historians or whatever what more means, because they might tell you, but you're still going to get a distorted perspective, because majority of the people who call themselves historians, if they have a binded book out there with an ISBN number on it, that got paid for by some European who's not going to let them say what more means, really. You know?
Still want you to tell his story.
His story. Don't tell your story, tell his story. You know? And even people who are doing that, like, you know, it was only there's a good one on YouTube with brother Diallo, Brother Diallo Sekou, and he's talking to Asher Kwesi about the Moors. Right? And Asher Kwesi is dropping it on him. He's dropping it on him about the Moors. He's not talking about no Egypt, Kemet, and all that crap. He's talking about the Moors. And the Moors are Egyptians, and the Moors are Cushites, and the Moors are whatever. But nobody's not going to listen to that. They're going to go listen to, the Greeks stole the African legacy and whatever, stuff like that.
What's the name?
Yes.
I think I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's Diallo Sekou interviews Asher Kwesi. Or just send Brother Diallo a message on Facebook, and he'll send it to you. I'm pretty sure it's something of that nature. He interviews him or something like that. Sorry, bro, you were saying?
It's okay. I was going to just say that Asher Kwesi, he studied under Dr. Benjamin Yakinen, didn't he?
Right. So he has to know. You know what I mean? He has to know. Because it's like with Brother Taj and Ivan Van Sertima. When he told him, if I tell the people that they're Moors, they're gonna deport me. Simple as that. I mean, why are they gonna deport you if you're just talking about Moors? Like, what's the big deal? It's no big deal. It's not no news. Or is that news? Or is that really the secret? The hidden secret that they want everybody to not think that that's the secret. That we're Moors. We're not anything that they call us. Because by making that claim of being that name, that puts us in a whole different jurisdiction, a broader jurisdiction than any of the labels that we claim put us in. There's no jurisdiction bigger than the jurisdiction of the Moors. Politically. That's the jurisdiction. They and again, like all these things, these documents play a part in why we don't get it. Right? The only people that you hear talk about nationality is the Moors. No other group out there talks from that perspective about actually having a nationality. Some of them might front and say nation and all that, and say flag and say constitution, whatever, but they don't want to talk about, because their status is civil liter mortis. Right? Only people who talk about nationality is Moors. Everybody knows that the Skull and Bones presidents refused to sign the Declaration of Rights under the UN. Right? Refused. They straight said, we're not signing. And then everybody charged them with being the biggest human rights violator on the planet. U.S. Canada. Documented fact that those are the people that violate people's rights the most. Right? Elihu Pleasant Bay starts up the Moorish American National Government, right? Taj and them start sending out all these documents to all these international communities or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see all these proclamations coming out from all these mayors talking about they recognize the Moors, they recognize Noble Drew Ali, they recognize, right? That's 2012, right? 2010, Barack Obama spills the beans and starts talking about when he went to Egypt about, United States founded on Muslim laws and we know about the Quran and Thomas Jefferson had Quran and all that, right? Let all that out, letting everybody know that there's nothing to do with Christianity over here, right? Everybody knows Barack's Muslim, right? Which means, he's really taken up a serious position, being the head of the Great Seal government, right? So-called head, right? At the same time he's in Egypt, Michelle's in Alhambra, right? And she's visiting the Moors, right? Barack Obama's in Egypt, he's talking about the Moors, and then he comes back here and then he signs the declarations, right? And then on this side, month before that, that's 2010, so in November 2010, Canadian government signs on to declarations. After years of not signing nothing, years of all these indigenous people talking about, oh, you know, you guys not respecting rights of the people, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as the Moors start sending out writs and stuff around here, as soon as the Moors put them on notice, Stephen Harper, who's the prime minister, he got stuff. The premier got stuff. All the MPs got stuff. Sheriff, federal police, provincial police, municipal police, chief of police, mayor, Queen Elizabeth, all of them. Right? All of them got stuff. Right? All of them got put on notice. Right? You know? Now they're talking about royal babies and all this type of stuff. You know, they ain't talking about no royal babies before the Moors put their ass on notice. Now they're talking about royalty. You know, Prince Harry and all this. Right? You know, every single thing that the Moors do, everything that the Moors do is recognized in the world. And they know what's up. As soon as the Moors do it, they already know, oh, frick, we gotta change up something. We gotta find a way to, you know, divert their attention again to something else, because we can't keep doing this. We can't keep living this front, because the more we live the front, the more truth comes out. Especially that's the Aquarian age right now, and the guy's holding the pitcher of water, which is knowledge, for 25,000 years, right? Or 2,500 years, 2,600 years, he's going to be holding this pitcher like this, emptying out stuff. And stuff's just going to keep flowing until the age is done. There's no, you know, a bottomless bucket. And he's just pouring stuff out. Because it's that time right now, where all the truth is just out there. And it's up to you to want it. If you want it, then you're gonna be like Killer Priest says, you're gonna be a brilliantaire. You're gonna be a brilliantaire, because so much knowledge is out there.
Well, you ain't never lied about that, brother Kudjo.
You know what I mean? Like,
Nothing out there make your head pop.
yo, that Drawley said it too. You know what I mean? I tell you some things, turn your brain to water. Then what are you gonna do? You know? You don't want no water brain.
I'm here late every night now, just about.
Man, and that's just, you know, that's you know, hopefully we get some sleep. Because that study is a time warp. You know, you pick up a book 12 o'clock, you look 2 minutes, and you know, you read 4 pages and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You got working hour. You know?
Right, a lot of midnight oil.
Need that midnight something.
Yeah.
Cause you know what I mean? You know?
2 o'clock in the morning, drinking green tea.
Yeah, like and majority of the time it's not even, you know, you're not even drinking the green tea to try to stay awake. You're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah,
You just up. Just up. You know what I mean? Way past midnight. You know? So it's you know, it's imperative that we study these international documents and things of that nature. Avalon Project is a good one. You know, yeah, that's probably one of the best out there because they have a full listing of stuff. You know, I mean, all types of treaties you never heard of around there. You know, and all of them have something to do with indigenous people and Europeans. Some way, somehow. Some way, somehow. You know what I mean? What else is there?
I got a quick question before I forget.
Yeah.
It's kind of diverting from the subject, but we mentioned it earlier. We were talking about the driver's license,
Yeah.
pictures, what have you. So, a lot of us Moors will carry the DL under the auspices of, okay, you know, it's under duress, threat, and coercion, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But are they registering their vehicles and getting tags and plates as well?
Well, there's if you check the YouTube with Taj talking about the DMV plates, there's a YouTube on there called Taj Tariq Bey endorses DMV or something like that. Them DMV tags or something to that nature, right? What now? In my opinion, my humble opinion, right? An opinion is no proof of truth, right?
Right.
But when people like Taj, Alim Bey, Grand Sheik Nature, Asir, Sister Raz, Fontes, Anaid, all these people, when they speak of law and nationality and birthrights and things like that, they're speaking like way up there. Like I personally have watched a Taj video 30 times and still take notes on the 31st time because of so the floodgates just open. You know what I mean? You talk to Anaida, you talk to Fontes, like same thing, just fire hydrant to the face knowledge. Right? You know? And you know, a lot of people drown because of that. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to hold their breath. You know, they don't know how to move out of the spray of the fire hydrant. You don't have to keep your face in the fire hydrant knowing that it's blasting water at you. You could get out the way. Right? But people think that this is cool. People think this is you know, something to gain popularity.
No.
You know what I mean?
This is food.
When it's food.
You get full, sit down and digest that before you eat some more.
Exactly. And that doesn't happen. People are gonna hear, you know, somebody's gonna hear something on YouTube today and they got court tomorrow and they're gonna go in there and say what they just heard on YouTube in the court tomorrow. And they don't even know what they're talking about.
Crack wide open.
Right? They're gonna get cracked wide open. They're not even gonna know that they got cracked and that they're open. They're just gonna feel the draft without know where it's coming from. You know?
Business, you know?
Serious business, bro. Like, you know, and it's not serious business because of you know, information is out there and it's so much information and oh my gosh, you know, this is the give you headache kind of information. No, it's serious business because this information is a threat to this whole beast system that everybody's complaining about. And nobody wants to recognize it as that. They want to debate with Moors about black laws, well, you know, black laws written by Europeans, so that book's the devil and you guys shouldn't be studying English language. Why not? English comes out of Latin. Why wouldn't we study English? Why not? Moors ruled England and Scotland and Ireland and Britain and Germany and Russia. You know what I'm saying? They still got Moors heads over there today posing. You know what I mean? Right? No, like there's an acceptance that our people have to acknowledge. You know what I mean? Like we're as active Moors, our job is uplifting fallen humanity. And anything that a Moor tells somebody who's undeclared or unconscious of their Moorish birthright is supposed to uplift them. Anything. You know, No Jolly was born in 1886. That's supposed to send their chakras shooting right up out their head and all that. You know, colored isn't a complexion of skin. Chakra is supposed to be shooting up. Everything that Moors say is supposed to have an impact on people like that. And if that's not happening, if you have to, well, you know, you're not black, here's a mirror. Well, you know, the black of the, well, you know you're not black because, you know, this is black and you don't look like this. Oh, well, leave them alone. If they're not getting it like this, just, they're not ready. Go find some young person. Bet you they're ready. I bet you tell them, you're not black. Now, I know I'm not black. You know what I mean? The young person will tell you that they know that they're not black. No matter how young you go, they know. You know? But as soon as they talk like that, some adult is gonna come and put them in line.
Yep. Sink their battleship.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Start programming them.
Start programming them. And you know the programming is that deep, which is why we gotta take. You know, I was talking with him more about this the other day, that, you know, the amount of Moors out there that have info, they shouldn't even be, you can't research anything and not come into Moorish information. Because there's so many Moors out there that have info. And I'm not even talking about, you know, like, spaced out, you know, high science metaphysics or whatever, you know. I'm talking about the guy who, you know, he lives here, and then right over that ridge right there, there's a big mound. And the whole city goes to this mound every whatever day just to go to this mound, just to go there. You know what I mean? You know? Like how they do with Stonehenge and things of that nature. You know, and all these Europeans coming out from all over the city, coming to this mound. Why are they coming to this mound for? You know what I mean? That information has to get out there. Because the Europeans know why they're going to that mound. You know, our people don't even know that that's a mound. You know?
There's mounds all over this continent.
All over.
All over the United States.
There's roads going through mounds.
Yep. And mounds next to on both sides of the road.
Right. But, you know, we've been trained to miss it. We've been trained to not know who we are, not know who our ancestors are. We've been trained to not know that, you know, like Alim Bey said, you know, we're the first world order. There's a new world order. The new world order is an old world order that got inherited or intercepted, and they call it new world order. You know, just like they're gonna take, you know, Snickers that's been around and change the package and say the new Snickers.
Give you a prime example, what you just said. Look at all your commercials today that's got any type of hip hop, break dancing or anything like that. 95% of them are European.
Yep.
They'll show a clip of one of us for like a hot second, but the whole entire video is them doing all the break dancing and all the hip hop and everything.
Yep.
It's like, wow. They'll try to erase the whole history book so people will grow up thinking that hip hop was a European invention.
Yeah.
See it all the time.
That's why you know, that's why they saved Eminem for last, for the whole Kendrick Lamar thing going on. You know what I mean? That's why they saved him for last. You know, he's the one. He's gonna be the one. Well, you know, of all the responses, Eminem's response was the one. Watch, yo. Watch. It's gonna happen. You know, because they have to put themselves in the play. Because they don't have a part. They have to put themselves in, because they don't have a part.
Emulate, imitate, copycat.
You know?
Just like the Matrix.
Yeah, yo. Well, say Brother Keith had to work tonight.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah, yo. Any more questions or anything like that? 'Cause I know I went off a little bit today. The spirit got me.
Nah, everything that happened was supposed to happen.
I always get something out of it, something else to start studying. But we are both, you know, working on paperwork. But you know, I'm getting it in here.
Yeah.
I'm here already. This is where it's at.
That's the key. That's the key. You know, I was talking with one of the brothers about that too. You know, just that it you know, the appearance of, you know, the paperwork and the cards and, you know, it's
Nothing.
yeah, it's nothing, you know, even though, you know, they have a purpose and all that, but if you're not spiritually connected to that stuff, if you're not connected to the card, connected to the paperwork, you know, you're not really in it. And the European's gonna see that, and he's gonna move on that.
Yeah, so I've been, my thing is, you know, getting just more and more comfortable with the Constitution.
Right.
Studying that more and more.
Yeah, and remember too. Remember that, you know, when we say study the Constitution and study the treaty and study, you know, all the articles and, you know, study these things. You're studying it so you can know their obligation to you. You're not studying it like how we study, you know, historical information to, you know, have a reference point.
Right. This is a contract that we're studying.
Right. You know, and a contract that's binding.
Yeah, that's right. This is a binding agreement between you and us.
Right.
So if you don't feel your end of the obligation of the contract, you're in breach of contract.
Right. Simple as that.
Then need my recourse.
Simple as that.
The only way we know they're in breach of something, we have to know what the something is.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But we want to call them on breaches when we don't even know what the breach is. We want to call them on violating and we can't even spell violate. You know, that's error on our part. If I'm going to say you stole my car and I don't know what color the car is, I'm in the error. You know, I'm wrong. I shouldn't be talking about stealing anything. You know what I mean? Just stay there with your missing stuff. You know, because you're claiming that it's yours, so you should know what color it is. You're claiming that this is your government, so you should know what your seal is, what your flag is, what, you know what I mean? What led up to this happening. You know, all the parties that were involved, who was plenipotentiary, who was minister, who was consul, you know, like all these things are part of the great drama called, you know, the Moorish history of the Americas. You know, but it's a good ass story. You need a movie about it. Like, it's a good story. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put all these pieces together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just you know, it's like from like 17. You can even go a little bit before that. You know, we could even go from 1492 to like 1800s or whatever, 1900s. You know, that'll be a good movie. You know, if it's told the right perspective, of course. You know.
Like a sequel, like The Matrix.
Yeah, man. You know, dodging bullets and all that. You know what I mean? The full works. You know. Yeah, yo.
Do you know of anyone that has any type of maybe animated stories for children to learn about our history? Has that been done yet?
There's animated. I know there's a brother out here that did an animated. He did an animated book on children's book on melanin. That might be online. His name's Travis Blackman. Travis Blackman, melanin cartoon. It should be on YouTube, I think. But as far as the history, I'm not too sure. You're gonna like you some Travis Blackman, sis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's up your alley. He's up your alley. You're gonna like some Travis Blackman. Yeah, that's like one of the slam champions out here.
That's what's up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he killed some people, man. He killed some shows. He killed some shows. Good, you know, knowledgeable brother. He goes far. Yeah.
Is he on YouTube also?
Yeah. Just search him out, Travis Blackman. And that's his name for real. That's his name, Travis Blackman. He's the only man that could probably claim it.
Say that?
Travis Blackman.
And then his middle initials A.
Travis A. Blackman.
Yeah, like that's his name. But he's not on no black stuff though. You know? He's not on no black, yeah. Yeah, yo.
That's the work on Brother Kudjo, because I know I still couldn't get mine to work. I Googled it and everything, and they said that they was having these problems, especially like people who had a MacBook Pro.
What was that? With what?
I got a MacBook Pro,
Yeah.
and I still haven't been able to video conference with anybody.
For real.
Yeah. Think they tagging me, bro?
Well, probably.
You never know.
I know what kind of sites you be going on.
Yeah.
Your ISBN. Yeah, yo.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just cause we're doing these movie nights out here right now. Outdoor movies. Yeah, and we're screening Lean On Me in a couple of communities where I work in. So that's why I've been busy on the Fridays. You know, but that should be That should be up soon, because as soon as it starts getting too cold out there, that's gonna be done. So out here, who knows? That might be the next month or something, maybe less than that. You know?
So what we gonna try to do Thursday or something?
Yeah, well, we'll keep. Today was just an exception, you know what I mean? We'll keep it on Friday, and then, you know, if anything changes, we'll adjust, you know. And also too, I'm gonna check out the Uvo thing too. Check that out too.
From what I haven't tested it out with more than one person, but
Yeah.
from what I've heard, that it doesn't, it's not slow like Skype.
For real. Okay. All right.
That's not supposed to compromise the signal strength between the people on there.
All right.
That's good.
All right. Yeah, man. We'll definitely check it out. Won't hurt. Won't hurt. But yeah, if that's it, you know, we could we'll do a prayer closeout. Five on the left, two on the right. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love,
truth, peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
and my salvation,
and my salvation.
by night and by day,
By night and by day,
through His holy prophet,
His holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali,
Noble Drew Ali,
Islam.
Islam.